Hi everyone. So today we will be focusing on the unit 2, which is chemical and cellular basis of life. So just before we begin the unit 2, the first section of this unit, let's go through the last section of the unit 1. So over here, as we could not discuss some of the most important points in the last section of Unit 1, let's roughly go through this section and then let's go to the Unit 2, which is the lesson that we have assigned for today. So over here, we have to focus on the levels of organization of living things when we talk about the molecular basis or the introduction of biology. So it starts from molecular level and it goes all the way up to the biosphere level. So it starts from molecules, molecules get together and form organelles, organelles get together and form cells, and then cells get together and make up tissues, tissues get together and make up organs, organs get together and make organ systems, organ systems get together and form an organism. So from here onwards, organisms get together and form population, populations get together and form communities, communities get together and form an ecosystem, and ecosystems get together and form a biosphere. So you can see that it starts from a small molecular level and it eventually goes up to the biosphere level. So you can keep a note on these levels of organization of living things when you focus on the first unit. And also there are two important points that I have included over here, which is the structural and the functional unit of life is considered as the cell, and also organisms can be either unicellular or multicellular. So unicellular is when an organism is composed of a single cell, whereas multicellular organism is when an organism is composed of more than two cells. So now let's go through the unit 2, which is the lesson for today. So over here we are going to focus on the chemical and the cellular basis of life. So we'll go through the first section of this unit 2 today. And over here, you would be able to see that we are focusing on the elements and its composition of living matter. So majority of the body mass of living matter is composed of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. So it adds up to 96% of the body mass. And then the remaining 4% of the body mass of living matter is composed of calcium, phosphorus, potassium and sulfur. And then, if you narrow this whole concept into humans, you can see that carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen make up the majority of the body mass of humans, which is 96.3%. And then the remaining 3.7% is made up from calcium, potassium, phosphorus, sulfur, sodium, chlorine, magnesium, and trace elements. So you can consider trace elements as boron, chromium, cobalt, copper, iron, iodine, and etc. And then you can see that when we talk about the properties of water, there are two important properties that we can consider, which is it provides a biological medium for all organisms, and as well as water is a vital chemical constituent of living cell. And then the next question that arises in our mind is what is hydrogen bonding? So if you take the molecule of water, which is H2O, you can see that you come across this word hydrogen bonding when you talk about water, either in chemistry or in biology. And then, if you take the summarized definition of what is hydrogen bonding is actually the interaction involving a hydrogen atom placed between two other atoms, which you can consider as oxygen, with a high electron affinity. So over here, the weak attraction between the slightly polar hydrogen atom of the molecular of water and the partially polar oxygen atom of the adjacent molecule is known as hydrogen bonding. So I have summarized the version of this and I have included which is the definition of hydrogen bonding in your resource book. And then let's go to the next section of it. So over here we will be focusing on the four major properties of water. First one, which is the ability to moderate temperature, and then the cohesive behavior of water, versatility as a solvent, and expansion upon freezing. So you can talk about several points for each of these major properties of water. So let's go through one by one. If you talk about the ability to moderate temperature, water acts as a regulator. So you can consider these points when you talk about the ability to moderate temperature. And then let's go through these points one by one. So now if you talk about this ability to moderate temperature, as I said before, it actually regulates the heat energy of water. So it can absorb heat energy or release heat energy. And also over here you can see that as a result of this, the body surface of an organism can be kept cold, which means water will act as a thermal buffer in the biological systems and aquatic entities during temperature variations on Earth due to its high specific heat. And then you can see that there are advantages of this property of water. And then let's go to the second property of water, which is the cohesive behavior. So when you talk about this cohesive behavior, which is a property of water, you come across two important words, which is cohesion and addition. So over here, what is actually cohesion? So you can simply keep a note on this, what is actually cohesion and addition. So I recommend you do further research on this so that you can get a clear understanding on all the points. So don't limit yourself only to this video or series of videos. Just go through several articles, maybe several textbooks, maybe, and collect as much as information so that you can make a summarized version of each of these terms and keep it yourself so that you have a good understanding of the key words that you come across when you go through all the units. So over here I can simply tell you that cohesion is actually the attraction that occur between water molecules due to hydrogen bonding. And then, if you talk about the next word, which is addition, so the attraction between a water molecule and other substances. So, the attraction between water molecules and other substances is generally known as addition. And then over here, you can see that due to this due to this cohesive behavior, there is a high surface tension that arose, and because of this, there are certain organisms in ponds that can walk on water. So, if you give a close observation in your pond, you would be able to see that there are small insects which can walk on water due to this property of water. So, next time when you go near a pond, make sure that you keep an eye on these insects and watch these behavior and the property of water, which is cohesive behavior. And then if you talk about the next two properties of the four major properties of water, so it is the versatility as a solvent. So the solubility will depend on the polarity, not on the ionic properties or the changes. And then the final property that we would be going through would be expansion upon freezing. So you can see that upon freezing, you would be able to see that there's a crystalline lattice. If you take an ice cube, you would be able to see this crystalline lattice that occur or that forms upon freezing. So when this water reach the maximum density, you can see that ice would start to flow on water. It doesn't sink, it starts to flow on the water bodies. So you can take a glass and you can pour some normal water into it, and then maybe you can take some ice pieces from your freezer and you can put them into this glass of water and you can observe as well. So over here, finally, I would recommend that you go through other articles and other textbooks and collect as much as possible information and take it to your knowledge and add them up to your knowledge. So don't limit yourself into just one thing, one source. Just go through many sources and collect new information and updated version of uh, several points maybe or several informations, because information keep updating all the time, so that you can add up the latest version of information. So go through several documents, several series of videos maybe related to this unit, or maybe you can find more by focusing on the keywords that you came across in this unit. So that's it for today. So thank you all for listening to this video. Have a great day.